Welcome to the Getting Real with Hillary show, where ordinary heroes tell extraordinary stories during unique and never been heard before conversations with your host, Hillary Burns. Hillary's unique listening and way of asking questions results in conversations that aren't usually talked about, so you can create the life that you really want but are afraid you can't really have. We are demonstrating the greatness in the human spirit and creating a world where we all reclaim our birthright of joy, happiness, purpose, and passion. Now, here's your host, Hillary Burns. Welcome to the Getting Real with Hillary show, and today we have a very special guest. We have Yogesh Dhruv, who is a businessman, a mindfulness coach, an entrepreneur, a YouTuber, a father, a husband, and the president of an international family business. And boy, does he have some great stuff for you. So I can't wait for our conversation. Welcome to the stage or to the studio, Yogesh Dhruv. Hello.
Hello, Hillary.
Great to see
Great to see
you.
you, and thank you for having me here, on your show. So thank you very
Yes.
much. I really appreciate this.
Can I say how we met?
Yes.
Okay. So Yogesh is the father of Avdi Dhruv, who was my guru. I'll still call her my guru. And she's been a guest on the show twice. And she's one of some of our favorite episodes. So you have high standards to meet, Yogesh. Okay. Your daughter
Yes.
has set the bar very high. So anyway, we're excited to hear your story. We know you've got like a double life, right? He's kind of got a double life here. So anyway, you want to start with you were telling me where you were born in a little village.
Yes, yes. So I was born in India with a very small village in western part of the country. So it is called Gujarat, and then I, moved to a big city, which is like a Mumbai or a Bombay in India, which is like a New York in India.
And
So this.
how old were you at that time?
Oh, I was like maybe like 5, 6 years old. Yeah,
So
and
was that a culture shock for you?
yeah, and but in between, I also went to Aden. Aden is in South Yemen. So my father went there for business. So that was, when I was like very, very, probably, yeah, 3, 4 years old. And then I stayed there for a couple of years and then came to Bombay in India. So that's, yeah, about 6, 7, yeah, probably in the, that age.
And what do you remember? I know you've had some other big shifts in your life. What do you remember from that impacted you from going to a little village to a big city?
Yeah, so going from that small village and then suddenly going into this big city with so much of population and activities and actions around. I mean, of course, I was young and small, so I whatever I understand and whatever I remember, yeah, that was a big shift. So yeah, that's the how. But then I born, and I mean I went to schooling, like elementary, high school, all the schools I've done it in Bombay, and then I went to the college. So I went to the like top schools in India and did my engineering there.
Wow. Okay. And was that something you wanted to do? Was that what you were expected to do? Did you love
Yes.
it? You expected.
So what happens, in India, in our Indian culture, normally the because my father was a businessman,
Yeah.
and he was like, he had his father died at early age, so he had to start working. He could not finish his graduation, like he was just 10th grade, and then he started working. but he had passion for business. So he just said, I'm going to do my business, and that is what he started. And so he had many businesses. He like started, 4 or 5 different businesses in life, and so it is normal practice that the I am being the oldest, like the son
Mm-hmm.
in the family. So normally the son would join the family business.
Okay.
So yeah, so when you say expected, yes, it was kind of expected because he was having a manufacturing plant, and that manufacturing plant needs engineers, right? So it happens to be okay. What do you do? Like either become an engineer or you become. So there were three choices: either you become a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
or you become an engineer,
Okay.
or you become a chartered accountant, like CPA.
So did you pick engineering or that was just what was
So
needed?
so yeah, I picked engineering because I didn't like doctor. I didn't want it to be doctor, and so I said, okay, this will help me is engineering because I was good at science and
Mm.
physics and all that, and so I said, okay, that's a good path, and also it would help probably to join the family business at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that is the reason.
But you didn't go right into the family business, right? You went to a few different companies. Was that on purpose so that you could learn from other businesses?
Yes, yeah, yeah. So after my graduation from that mechanical engineering,
Mm-hmm.
I went as a trainee engineer to work for different companies. So just to get some more, exposures and also some training
Mm-hmm.
in a little bit like a big corporate companies, but it was based in Mumbai.
Okay.
So I went there couple of years, learned some maintenance engineering, tooling, tool room, and all that. And then my father invited me. Okay, now would you like to join?
So how old were you by then? In your 20s still?
I was about, I would say 23, 24,
Okay.
23, 20, yeah, about 23 years old. So just, yeah, finished graduation in a couple of years and then, yeah, so joined that family business. The only funny thing happened is
Yeah.
that, when, when I, when my father invited me to join this family business, I said, well, come. And I said, okay, I will come there. But I didn't ask that, is there any exit?
Oh, well, yeah.
And
Wow.
later on, after so many years, I found out that there is no exit. Once you join the family business, you are in it, right?
Yeah.
You can do an exit, but there has to be a succession, right? There has to
Hmm.
be a succession plan, and successor has to be there. But normally, this is the way the Indian tradition goes.
But he wasn't ready to retire, right? I mean, did you feel like you made a difference for the company? Did you,
Yes.
yeah?
Yeah.
What was the
See,
biggest
I was the first engineer in the whole of our family. So, like my father, they had like 4 brothers and 3 sisters. They were 7.
Oh,
So out of the 7, all the children, there were none of them were engineers. So there were like, my uncles and aunts and nephews and nieces, everybody, all my, cousins, none of them were engineers. So I was the first child to become an engineer in the company, in the family.
but were they all working in the business too?
Not all of them, some.
So they were your father's brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So was he the oldest? So when his father died,
No, he was the second oldest.
but you said his father died and then did he support the family with his businesses?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
He supported the family, and that's why he went to this Eden in South Yemen.
Okay.
That time, it was a free port, so it was like a Singapore. It was like a Singapore, a free port, like a and there. So he went at like that early age of like 10th grade, 11th grade, after that school, and he started a store, that was the same, a convenience store, and then
Mm.
he started and slowly built up that whole business. And then he came back to India because that Eden was taken, it was a British colony,
Mm.
but then this South Yemen took over, and they said that now you have to leave. So all the Indians had to leave that country, so they all came back to India. So my father came back to India, and that time it was 1964, 1964, 65.
Mm-hmm.
That time he came back to India and started the company in India, because he said, I'm not going to work for anybody. I will start my own company. And he was passionate about manufacturing. So he said,
Mm.
okay, I will put and start an industry. So he started an industry in Mumbai in 1966. And that company is still existing even today.
And what did, I know I talked to Abdi about it, but in your words, what was he actually making? How did he
Oh,
know how to do that? How did
yeah,
he know?
he
He just did
he,
it.
he had zero knowledge of any manufacturing, but he got a partner. He found a good partner
Mm-hmm.
who knew the engineering, and he stayed. Okay, that was the leaf spring. So the automotive suspension part
Mm-hmm.
in a truck, where you have all the shock absorber.
Yeah.
So that is the leaf spring. So it absorbs all the shocks.
Oh.
That is the plant he started, and that is the same plant I joined in 1984, 1983, 84. When
Oh.
I graduated from engineering, and after my training, I went there and started in that manufacturing plant. And then he said, okay, you run the production, you run the manufacturing, you run all the shop floor activities. So I started learning, and also getting
So,
all the manpower, the management, the unions. There were union in our plant, and I had to deal with that. The people are so, it's a very different world. In India, unions are so much, strong. So I had to deal with that too. And so I was like, a lot of stress and pressure
mm.
from that manufacturing.
So now, okay. So say what that thing was again. It's a leap spring. So it's something with the shocks. So
Yeah.
why was his like was his better than others, or it was just a need? Like why did was that something that is still? I'm assuming it's still being made today, right?
Yes.
That's still the is it one product or he has many?
No, one product, but it has got lot of variety.
Okay.
Every truck. So you see any truck on the road
Yeah.
here, they all use the suspension part as a spring. So there are two different kinds. So one is a coil spring. The
Okay.
coil spring is like a round coil,
Yeah.
and another one is called a leaf spring, which is like a laminated, steel.
Okay.
It's a silico manganese steel, special steel used to absorb the shocks. So any ditch, any kind of irregular surfaces on the road,
Hmm.
it will, whatever that shocks are
Yeah.
absorbed by the spring.
So are do other
It was
companies?
very, it
Yeah.
was very, very critical for any automotive, any trailer, trucks, car, every automotive, you name it, it has the leaf springs.
But were there other companies making it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
There were other companies making it. So we were not the only person. Yeah, we were not the only company. Yeah, there were other people manufacturing, but not many. So
Okay.
my father just chose because there was a big demand. So
So he had a automatic market,
yes.
right? So the customer would be the truck or car. Is it just trucks manufacturers? They're the ones that needed the part, right?
Yeah, all the OEM companies like Ford or Chrysler or GM,
Wow.
all these big companies, I mean, we were only selling in India that time, but
Okay.
then after, I think after 10, 15 years, he started exporting them. So started exporting from India to other countries. So initially we started in, the like Africa, East Africa and,
Mhm.
South Africa and some of the Middle East countries. So
Wow.
we started with that, and then slowly then he expanded to US, and that was a big market. There was like full container load of springs we were exporting from India to US.
How big is a spring? Like how big?
Oh, it starts like, you can say about like, I would say 2 feet, 3 feet is the
Oh, okay.
minimum,
Wow.
and it goes all the way to like 6 feet or 7 feet.
Wow.
so
So would
so
they order a certain size and then you would deliver them?
yes,
Wow.
yeah, there is the whole process. The manufacturing process is quite complicated. From you get the raw material, then you cut them, then you bend them, you form fabrication. You heat
Mhm.
it up at like 1100 degrees Celsius, and then you forge them. You bring them, like a forging, so you have to hammer it up, and then you have to heat them up. There is a heat treatment plant, so heat treatment of the steel. Then you bend them into the elliptical shape. Then you have to assemble them, and then put the bush and bolts and nuts and u-bolts, everything together as a full
Wow.
assembly. So it's a
So
full assembly.
do the machines do that? You have
Yeah,
machines to
there
do
is both. So there is some part is manual, some part machines. So slowly, initially it was more manual.
it. Hmm.
Then later on, we introduced more machines, and it became more and more automatic.
So did you create the springs themselves or did you buy them and then do what you had to do to them?
No, no, no. We, from the raw material to finish, we do
Wow.
everything.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything complete. Yeah, we had like huge plant. We're working from like start of the operation to end. There was a, yeah,
How
it was
many
a lot.
people? How many people work there?
That time it was, I don't now. I think it was about probably 100 plus
Yeah.
employees, but I'm talking about in 70s, or I mean
Yeah.
80s. Sorry, 80s.
Wow. And then who made the first sale to the US?
Oh, my father. Yeah, yeah. He found an agent in New York, and he found that person, and they got together, and he said, "Oh man, we have a demand here for all the trailers. If you go to Texas, Texas in Dallas area and
Hmm.
Dallas Fort Worth, all the trailer companies, they use these lip springs, so to absorb the shocks. And
Yeah.
we started that, like my father started probably like in 80s, and he came first time, and it was interesting story, and then that became very friend of that customer. They regularly buy in container loads, so for like 20 feet containers, they come from India all the way to Texas,
Wow.
and they use them.
Wow. Because it must cost a lot to ship them, right?
Yes, yes.
But I guess they absorb the cost and it's worth it for them,
Yes, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. It was worth it. Yeah, yeah. Because here the cost was very high. The
Oh,
local manufacturing, because of the labor involved,
yeah.
it was too high. So that is the way reason they import. And you used to sell like 20 containers a year, or 30 containers a year, or 40 containers a year. I mean, huge. Every month,
Yeah.
like, 4 or 5 containers every month. All the product, like more than 50% of our production was for export.
Wow.
So only, yeah, we were not selling, I mean, 50% in domestic market in India, but other 50% was going exports to Africa, to Middle East, US, all
Wow.
different countries.
That's amazing. So, okay, so you said you switched to when did you switch to sales and marketing? So you were in the engineering plant,
Yes.
and then how did, so I guess you got the
So
plant going, right?
yeah, so as we like, as I got more experience in the manufacturing, production, shop floor, management of labor, all
Mhm.
this employees, then my father said, now go to sales and start going into the meeting the customers, because now you know the product
Yeah.
so much well. Now you can sell it because you know the product. If customer asks you, oh, how do you make this, how is this assembling done, how this forging is done, or how this is bent, or anything like hardness testing, quality control, quality assurance, everything. So I knew everything, by that time. So I'm the perfect salesman.
So were you okay with that? Were you okay with switching?
Well, yeah, yeah, because I like to travel. See, I traveled all over the world. So I started in going to Europe, because Europe had a higher, they are like latest technology there, especially in Germany.
Yeah.
And so I liked to travel to all different parts of the world. So I said, okay, I'll go to US.
Wow. And were you married then? Were you married by then?
No, 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 not,
No?
not that time. No.
So you were a
I
single, carefree guy
Yeah, so I
traveling
just
around the world. Yeah,
yeah, so
wow.
I started traveling to Europe. I went to Germany. I went to all the trade fairs, Messe,
Oh,
all the different, then we participated in the trade fair also. We participated in the fair and, shown our products. We had a booth and we had a lot of customers, and I was, good. I like, this is the way, I just like to talk to people and get connected, and, uh, like, dancing with in conversation.
so did you like that better than engineering?
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's interesting, right?
Yes. So yeah, I went, and because I was always curious
Mhm.
about what other countries are doing, right? How they are manufacturing, what is the technology they are applying, how can I learn and apply the same kind of same or better techniques, so that I can do it more efficiently,
Mm,
because I'm engineer, right? So
yeah,
basically I always see as an efficiency, automation, some new
yeah.
techniques. So I learned, so I went
Did
to
you,
all this manufacturer in Germany, and then
so they would
in
let you go to their plants and
yeah,
look? Yeah.
there were machinery manufacturer, right? So all the machinery
Oh,
manufacturers, they want to sell their machines.
oh, okay.
So they
You
say,
weren't
okay,
looking at your competitors. You were looking
no,
at the machine people. Okay, okay.
yeah, I was
Wow.
going and looking at the machines and
Okay.
all the machineries and all that. So they show me, okay, here are the machines, and then they also some take me. I said, okay, I want to see the actual production of your machine. So
Hmm.
they take me to the plant where they are actually manufacturing.
Yeah,
So I used to go there, and not every time, but yeah, sometimes they have a good friendship with the customers,
yeah.
so they will allow
And
people to
you were
come.
their customer,
Yes.
but you were also selling your own stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so but
So,
see, they some of the people, they don't mind showing them, okay,
yeah,
you can see them at
yeah,
least, those machines. You don't tour the entire plant,
yeah.
but you can see that particular section of the building.
Right. Okay. So
So
did
that's
you buy, you were also buying machines for your plant
yes, yeah, so
as
we
well
bought some.
as, yeah, but you were also
um,
there to sell your product.
yes,
So
yes,
both. You got to do both. That's cool.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so I do both.
Most
It's
most salespeople are probably not engineers, right? So they probably wouldn't have both interests, right?
no, no.
Yeah. So that's cool. Okay. All right, good. All right. So then you got into sales and then at some point you got married, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So I got married to Zarna in India, and
What
then,
year was that? What
that
year was
was 1985.
that? Okay. 1985. All right. And so you were still living in India and you were now in Were you in sales yet, or you were still in engineering then?
No, no, sales.
Sales. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. And but you were still living there. And then at some point, right, you decided to move to the US.
Yeah, yeah. So then I used to come to US, almost like, two times a year, then three times a year, then six times a year, So every other month I come here, I spend like 2 weeks and go back.
Yeah.
2 weeks and go back.
And what were you doing when you came? Visiting your customers?
Visiting the customers, meeting them, discussing with them, projects, new product lines. I developed almost like 250, 300 different product lines.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, just leaf spring was one part, but then I developed all the other like 250 parts all around that suspension parts. So leaf spring was our manufacturing,
Yeah.
but then I started producing through vendors. So we had like
Oh,
all the different vendors who were manufacturing, but it was as per our design. So I started making the drawings and then make the samples,
yeah.
prototypes, testing, and then we supply to US, to all the US customers. So 250 different product lines were developed.
But so you didn't make them, but did they work with your product so that then it
Yes.
was like a set,
Yeah.
like less for them to buy?
Yes, yeah. So it was like a sub assembly, or it was mating our springs. So the whole suspension, all the different bushing and spring pins, and all the nuts and U bolts and all different kind of parts. All this, yeah. So, but that's a big, yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. But then you
That's
see, really,
yeah.
that, yeah. But then we, of course, that company then changed in 1994. One of our customers who were buying the springs, they said, can you make the rubber gaskets,
Oh,
the seals, the pipe seals?
yeah.
And we didn't know anything about rubber at that time. So we didn't know anything about the rubber. But my father said, okay, because he was a good friend of our agent in New York. So he said, can you find somebody in India who can supply me this? Because I need it badly, a good quality, reliable supplier. And that's how my father found a company in India who can manufacture this. And we started in rubber manufacturing. So it's a completely different manufacturing plant. It was not sleep spring, it was not steel, it was not forging, nothing. It was completely different raw material. And then he started with that.
And when was that? What year was that?
That he started in early 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, but
And
you
that
kept
was,
you kept the old thing, and then you just added a new.
yes.
So what? So, do you still have all of it now? You still make all of it now?
No, we because of that union, that trade
Yeah.
union problem, we
Yeah.
had to close down that plant of automobile leaf springs. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because we just, I mean, it was too much of a stress every day. We had to lock out our plant
yeah.
for months. They don't work, and so we had to pay them, but they don't work. So it doesn't make any sense. We were losing customers, we were losing all our production, plant, everything. And if they don't work, and if we have to make
Yeah.
payments to them, salary and everything, I mean,
Right.
it doesn't. So ultimately, this is the time my father decided, let's close down, and we moved out. And then by the time, we had this new company started, a new manufacturing plant in 91. And then 94 we started our own manufacturing plant for the rubber gasket, and
Wow.
that is still running. That is the one which I started when I was in India. So I started that, which is about 100 miles north of Mumbai.
So did you have to get all new customers? Like what happened? So,
Yes.
wow. So you had to start over.
Yes. Yeah, it was completely new. That time this was, but we had this one customer already because he told us to manufacture, and that is why. So we had that customer already there.
Wow.
But then, yes, then we started, manufacturing them, and then, expanded, and then found another new customers, and then it just continued, So,
That's incredible, right? All that, right? But at least I guess you knew what to do, even though it was a different product, right?
yes,
You knew how
yes,
to sell, you knew how to market, you figured out how to manufacture it, and then you started over. Wow. So
yes,
that's
yes,
now 94. That's 30 years ago.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then
When did you move here after that?
in 2003, I moved
Okay.
here because from 94 I used to come, 5 times, six
Right.
times
Okay.
here
Okay.
to sales and marketing and all. So my family decided that it's too many. Like
Yeah.
I was missing my family, my
Yeah.
wife, and Audi and everybody. So they said, okay, if we have to grow this business in US, then it is better that I move my family. And so I came to Atlanta, Georgia, and
Wow.
in 2003. And then uh, like we have a distribution center. So we started with a distribution center where we manufacture parts from India, bring
Yeah.
it in Atlanta, Georgia, into our warehouse, and then distribute all over the country.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing. So you just started that up from nothing, right? You just created
yeah,
it. That's
yeah.
incredible.
That's how yeah, we started from. Well, we just had, that kind of, we got that good partner here again, like who
Yeah.
were
Oh,
representing us in Atlanta. So yeah,
he
they
helped.
really helped
Wow.
us. They helped us. Yeah, they helped us
Wow.
in establishing here company and warehouse and,
Wow.
sales and everything, accounting.
Amazing. All right.
Yeah.
So now that we've moved you to the US, we're going to take our commercial break and then we're going to hear about the next phase of your life and what you're up to now. You're not
Okay.
going to believe he went from you already went from engineering to sales, so it's not as big of a jump, but stay tuned for what he's doing now and we're going to do a little demo and we'll be right back after our commercial. After a word from our sponsor. Okay?
Okay.
Be right back.
Has social emotional learning become just one more thing on your teachers' plates? Do teachers and students both find it boring and ineffective? Then bring Kikori to your school. Kikori transforms classrooms through experiential SEL activities that help students play, reflect, connect, and grow. Even better, students say it's more fun than recess. Schedule a no-obligation conversation at kikoriapp.com/bringkikori. KIKORI.
Do you ever feel like you can't say what you really want to say? Or that you're stuck or in a holding pattern in your relationships, career, personal life, or finances? Are there things you want in life that you've given up on? Are you resigned that this is as good as it's going to get? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then Hilaryburns, host of the Getting Real with Hilary show, has the solution you need. Hilary is a published author of 3 books and has a program called the Getting Real process. This process frees you from what is holding you back, allowing you to create a life you love. Don't believe it? It is hard to believe that it could work, isn't it? The proof is that hundreds of Hilary's clients have used the Getting Real process and are now free to create whatever they want in relationships, career, finances, enjoying life, or just loving themselves more. So go to realtalkwithhilary.com and order Hilary's book, Real Talk, and set up a conversation. thank you as always to our sponsor, KakoriApp.com. If you'd like to bring experiential social emotional learning to your schools, businesses, or teams, please contact them. As you saw in the commercial, it's more fun than recess. And as always, as usual, if you're not speaking up, go to realtalkwithhillary.com, get this book, and let's talk. Because I know I was someone, still am, a little bit of a people pleasing, pleasant phony who wouldn't speak up. And this book, the writing of it changed my life. And now I'm still working on it, work in progress of speaking up. And it really, you can have what you want and not alienate people. So, and you can do it wrong. I've done it wrong. But anyway, we'll help you practice. So let's get back to our very special guest, Yogesh Dhruv, and we're going to hear about what he's doing now. So, welcome. I know we could talk about your company forever. It's so interesting, but I want to hear about how you, and I know we talked before, but how you started this new venture, new calling, if you will, and then we're gonna practice, we're gonna experience it. So go ahead.
Mhm.
You went from engineering,
So,
Mister, you
yeah.
know, science, right?
Yes. So 3.5 or 4 years ago, we went to Yellowstone. Like, my family, went to Yellowstone for like 1 week or 8 days or 8 or 9 days of, trip to Yellowstone National Park. And that Yellowstone National Park. So, we rented a RV that
Mhm.
time. So, we were in that, kind of a camping ground with that RV, and we were just taking all the trails and hikes and all that, during the daytime, and the evening when we come back and be in that RV and have our dinner, we like, there is a small kitchen, right?
Mhm.
In the RV. So that recreational vehicle. So, my daughter and myself, we were like, I used to do all the, like, my meditation and my yoga in the morning, and then, take a hike, and then do all my, other, energy practices and breathing exercise and everything. And like, we were talking about it, and like, my friends and other family members, they say, why don't you, teach this? Why? I mean, you are so healthy, energetic, looking young, and keeping yourself fit and healthy with all these, habits and all these practices. Then my daughter said, why, yeah, Dad, why don't you start, something like a coaching program where people can learn from you? Because, I learned this actually, in India from my one of my guru.
And how old? When did you learn all that?
Oh, when I was around in early 90s, when I really, when I was traveling, all
Mm-hmm.
this, I had also a lot of stress that time
Mm-hmm.
because of the traveling and, customers, finding new customers, talking to them, and we produce, 200 plus different product lines. So all the vendors, they were all like different parts of India. I had to travel within India. I had to travel, in exports to US and Europe and Middle East and Africa. So it was too much traveling. So I was under stress. And that time we found this guru who came to Rotary Club of India. So I was a member in Rotary Club, and
Oh.
I was a member there. And then this our Guruji came to our one of the meetings. So every Monday we had a meeting at 6 o'clock in the evening. So I used to go there, and he was the guest speaker on one of the meetings, and I was impressed. And then he had the program. That program is every day at 6 in the morning till 9 for 21 days. So 21 days I went there, and if you go even like 1 minute late, so if you are at 6:01, the door is shut. No more entry. No more entry. You have to be there on time, no matter what. Whether there is traffic on the road, you have all that kind of stuff. No, he was very strict, and very, very punctual, and absolutely, how to run. Responsibility was the one class. I learned all that, how to be responsible, not for yourself, but responsible for the whole world. You are responsible for the whole world. You cannot say I'm not responsible. And I mean, I can go on for on this. I mean, it was such a I learned that, and it was so much, a big impact in my life. It was like life changing, life
Wow.
altering.
So how old were you then? That was in the
It
90s.
was 90. So yeah, I was in 30s, right? Like,
Wow.
yeah.
So you went for 21 days. Were you ever late and didn't get in?
No.
No. No, you got in. Okay. So that changed your life. And then that's when you started doing all these practices, right?
Yeah, and then no, then I did advanced programs. So he
Oh,
had advanced meditation retreats, like different kind of techniques, different. So there were like so many of them. So like 3 day retreat, silent retreats for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, all different retreats. So I used to go there for like since in 90s all the way till 2003 before I came to
right.
US.
Wow.
Every 3 months we used to go into that program whenever I'm not traveling, whenever I'm not going anywhere outside the country. I would go and attend those.
So
So
did
me
it,
and my wife, we
yeah.
both were so much in,
Oh,
like,
she went too?
yes, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
She
And did it
was,
help with the stress?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she was actually, she was instrumental for me to, go together. Like, she
Wow.
was like, yeah, she was pulling me.
So does she still do it too in
Yes.
the morning? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So both of us, yeah. So we both started practicing this, and doing that every day. It is our ritual. Like, you get up in the morning and do your brush, right?
Yeah.
Brush your teeth or have a shower. Same thing, without this practice of meditation, yoga, breathing exercise, that is our brushing my teeth.
And how long does it take you each day?
Well, of course, like 20 minutes
Oh,
to all the way to, like, I mean, almost 1 hour. I keep about 1.5 hour in the morning for myself.
wow.
That is my me time. So I keep that 1 to 1.5 hour, depending on my all the meetings and other things. But that's really very, very important
And your
because
wife
that,
your wife does it too?
yes.
With you or she does it on her own?
No, 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 separate. Yeah, yeah. I do it because, yeah, we have to do it on our own, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
we do it together. I mean, not sometimes together, but yeah, most of the time separate.
So
Uh,
that's 30 years you've been doing this.
30 years, yes.
Wow. Okay. So when your daughter said, "Why don't you teach this?" you said, "Hmm,
Yeah, so I was not sure, whether anybody would really ready to, learn this
yeah,
kind of thing. I said, man, this is something new. I don't know how to teach them. Or, I mean, I know how to do it myself, but
yeah,
slowly, like, so I started with my family a little bit, with friends a little bit, and then said, okay, yeah, I can really work on this. And then Audi inspired me more, said, yeah, I mean, why not, so then I started, making this website, and getting some clients, and work with them one on one, made the whole program. So there are modules of the program, so one can learn by one module, by week by week by week. So it is a 3 months program as a foundation program, and then
wow,
you have an advanced program which is 6 months to a year. So whatever is your commitment. So I have clients, who do it for 3 months as a foundation program,
Hmm.
then go to the next level and do 6 months or a 1 year program.
Wow. And
Yeah.
do you love it? Do you love teaching them?
Yes. Yeah. I love them, because the way when they come, they have, they have certain challenges, or they have certain, issues, and in their, either in their health, in their relationship, in their finances,
Hmm.
or like in their network. So they have all these uh, challenges, and when they come and they find a solution, and they are so happy, they are so joyful,
Mm.
they are with an inner peace, they get a freedom, and that kind of a, that the shift in their mindset,
Mm.
abundance, because there is, everything is in abundance, but we are having that scarcity mindset, and that scarcity is like, you have a lack of all the areas in your life,
Yeah.
and that doesn't work. So they come, and then they see the change and the shift and transformation in their life, and when I see that twinkle in their eyes and the smile on their face, that is my greatest reward.
Oh, wow. I love it. All right. So are you ready? He's gonna do a little exercise. Are you ready for that? You want to
Yes.
try that? So I want you all, if you're listening or watching, don't, if you're not, if you're driving, but if you're sitting, do this with us. And I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm willing to try and see if I can get that twinkle and peace and abundance, right? That sounds good. I don't know if we can do it in 3 minutes, but we're going
Yeah.
to go for it, right? You ready? So what do
That's
we
it.
have to do?
Okay, so I'm going to start this music, little background music,
Okay.
and then I will speak, and you can close your eyes,
Okay.
and then just listen to my instruction and just follow that. But you can, yeah, you can close the eyes and
Okay.
see what happens. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, close your eyes and just observe your thoughts. Just relax. Take a nice, soothing, relaxing breathe in. So inhale, very relaxing, breathe in, and slowly exhale, breathe out. Do it 2 more times. Nice, relaxing, soothing, breathe in and breathe out. Look at that air. Just look at that air which is flowing through your nostril. Just focus at the tip of the nose where air is entering into your nose, and see how it is entering from nose to your brain, to your neck, into your shoulders, into your lungs, into your abdomen area, lower abdomen area, and lower parts of the body, all the way to the feet. Then, when you breathe out, observe that breath again, how that flows out from all the parts of the body. It goes out from the same nose. See how that breathe in, how that breath brings you so much of energy. It goes into all your organs, all your tissues, all the cells. Just be as an observer of the breath. Just relax the whole body. Just get that relaxed. All the muscles in the body is relaxed from top of the head all the way down to your toes. Just loosen it up, completely loosen it up, every part of your body, and take that nice, soothing, relaxing breath and slowly exhale that out. Do it one more time. Just be an observer and see how beautiful that taking breath in is giving energy every part of your body. One more last time. Nice, soothing and relaxing. And then just whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was cool. I was worried about the music because I couldn't hear the music, but I was like, let it go, let it go. You'll fix it later. Like I had to keep returning to the breath from the worry. But I did. I was pretty good. I could let it go. I'm like, we'll deal with that later. Just breathe. Yeah, that was very relaxing. Woo. Well, I hope if you're listening or watching, you did that too. And if not, rewind and try that because that was like, I just feel like I just relax now.
You get relaxed completely.
Yeah.
And when see the beauty is that when you are this is known science of non-doing,
Mm,
and then science of non-doing is what I coach and teach.
yeah.
And that is not doing, attending meetings and Zoom calls and, text messages and emails and
Yeah.
all that, phone calls. Yeah,
I
that
would
is
say
all.
non-worrying. I'm a worrier and I had to just keep putting the worry aside.
Yeah, you have to be in
Yeah.
your own true self.
Wow.
When you are be in that true self, there is an abundance
Yeah.
of everything there. And
That
you
was,
don't need, see, it is so true that you don't need that the reason for happiness from outside world.
wow.
You can get it from inside world.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. That was so cool. Now we just have like a minute left. What would you, I know we're going to have in the notes how people find you. I think it's yogeshdhruv.com. It'll be under your name, in the interview. So you can find him there. What would you like to leave people with? Like, what would you see as possible if your work could take off in 5 years? How would the world look?
Yeah.
Hillary.
So my vision is that I create an abundance mindset
Mm,
in the business world by bringing mindfulness to business owners.
wow.
Because I'm a businessman, so I would like to empower business owners from their daily stress, struggles, challenges, all the worries. This is, I get this, such a tremendous joy, that inner peace,
Mm,
that inner peace, and that love and gratitude, the feel of gratitude, with your, that is possible for everybody. And I would like to give them, that kind of, empower them with, that freedom and joy and inner peace and love in their life, every moment of their life.
wow.
They can get it. And it is possible. And I have been practicing it for so
Wow.
many years, in spite of all the challenges in my business, in my career, everywhere. So I can really, bring that to the business owners and the business world. It will be, my dream, my and also to serve them.
Mm,
Yes.
awesome. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you.
Thank
Really, thank you for that gift that you're bringing to the world. It's beautiful. And we certainly got a taste of it. And what a different, just, when you were telling the first part of your story, um, it was all about engineering, but here you had this going on at the same time. We didn't know. And so thank you for joining the two. It's really magical. So thank you.
Yes. Yeah. No,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Hillary.
All
Yeah.
right. Awesome. We'll see you
Okay.
next week. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode. I started getting real with Hillary when I discovered that I was a people-pleasing, pleasant phony and wanted to be more of my real self. We can grow together if you will like the show, subscribe to my channel, and share this episode with your friends and family so that we can have a world that's more real.